Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Thank you very much for watching. Do please like and subscribe. Come on, it really helps, just click it down there. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to talk today about 1,100 inmates released early from custody to ease the burden of the overcrowding problems in HM prisons. And believe this or not, on BBC Radio 4 this morning, they had the head of the probation service saying that of all the inmates released early, the probation service are expecting 56% of those released early will be back in prison before the end of 12 months. So that's not really solving the problem, is it? All it's doing is kicking the can down the road a little bit, taking the steam off for a time being before it explodes. But that's not the solution. There's got to be a solution. I see that the Ministry of Justice seems to be waking up to the idea that something else has got to be done, and they are talking about something I mentioned a little while ago. That's sentencing people to incarceration within their own properties. Putting tags on them or a form of smartwatch that's attached to their wrist so that their position is monitored at all times. And it's quite easy to do these days. I've even got something like that on my phone, so if my wife goes out, she can see where I'm going, and I can see if she goes out. She doesn't go out very often. Asda, that's about it. But it can be done, and in the event that people do continue to break the rules, then there has to be a solution beyond that. Obviously, it's not going to be the old Victorian dungeons like Armley Jail, Wandsworth, Pentonville, Wormwood, Scrubs, Strangeways, you name it. It's just not going to be that. They've got to come up with a solution. I believe that people who are repeat offending, and they will not live in society, and abide by what amounts to reasonable rules, although the more I see of this new government, the more I'm starting to think of Gestapo. That's what it comes to my mind as I see what they're proposing here. But nonetheless, if people are unable to live in society and continue to commit what amounts to reasonably serious offences, such as housebreaking, rape, sexual offences, street violence, carrying knives and all that, all right, get them out. They don't want to live in society. They don't want to live in society. So remove them from society for a period of, say, 20 years, how about that? If they get 3 times out, bang them away, sling them out, recreate a massive Vector's prison. I keep telling them this, and one day they will listen. They will build a massive great prison, and these are for people who cannot live in society peacefully. And take them out, stick them on an island, or stick them in a massive prison in the middle of Dartmoor. Knock down that dirty old dungeon and build something entirely massive that will hold, say, 10,000 inmates. And once you get in there, you're staying in there for at least 20 years because you've decided you can't operate in society, and you won't get out at all unless you actually fulfill some kind of rehabilitation program. I believe that is an answer. I really do. And I know it's cruel. It may seem cruel, but it's not as cruel as having some 25-year-old young man breaking into an old folks' home, stealing their belongings, stealing the money, molesting the old people, and basically proving themselves unfit for reasonable habitation in a civilized society. So they're going to have to do something like that. Eventually, I hope you're listening. Ministry of Justice, start looking now. Invest in a massive, great prison. And quite right, I believe that somebody up there has been listening to me in government. They're doing away with the short-term sentences. All the short-term sentences do, and I've pointed this out previously here, is destroy people's lives. It's no deterrent. All it does is get them to lose their job, disrupt the family life, possibly lose their property if they're renting a property. And the problem that you've got with releasing people early into the streets, I mean, you can go and look online. There's people who have been released early saying, I would rather have remained in prison because at least I had somewhere out of the weather. One guy who's been interviewed, he said when he came out, he gave him £89 and sent him to one of the charities, and they gave him a tent. He said the problem with the tent was it wasn't waterproof. And since he's been released, and he's only been released about a month, or 3 or 4 weeks, and he said that he's gone through 3 tents, and his 3rd tent, the rats are eating it. We can't find places for the prisoners that are being released. There's no hostels properly. There are no hostels that are available. We haven't got a plan. All they've done is opened the gates, thrown them out, and as the probation service said on BBC Radio 4 on the Today programme this morning, that 56% of all those prisoners who were released early are expected back in the slammer within a year. How is that a solution? Now listen, I know you've got academics up there, you've got people with degrees in criminology, psychology, all the rest of it, and you're getting nowhere because you're doing too much here and not enough with your heart. Think straight. Get somebody who knows what they're talking about, people who have actually been on the ground floor, witness what these people are like, and deal with it in a sensible, common sense manner. Because everybody thinks there's loads of common sense out there. You don't see too much of it though, do you? Not at the top. Anyway, maybe they're thinking now, I don't know. But you've got my number. If you can't find it, ring MI5 because they have got my number. I'm not active anymore. All I'm doing is just giving you my point of view here. Yeah? I see, of course, the family of this young man who was killed, shot by the police, are saying he didn't get justice. Well, some weeks before he was shot dead by the police, he was in a nightclub shooting other people. I don't know. Did he get justice? I don't know. That's for you to think. Yeah? Anyway, it's that time of day, folks. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying these tales from the jails. That's right. It's the Song Dinger. Head for the hills. That's for all you people who are more sensitive, that can't stand the singing. You now know it's what's going to happen. I'm going to make a mess of another song. This is a song I heard the other day, recorded by Tom Jones. Also heard it by that pervert, PJ Probby. People say, well, why do you call him a pervert? Surely he's not a pervert. He likes little girls. He likes little girls aged 11. And I know from first hand that that's what he intends. 11-year-old children. Because I was working with him. He recorded some of my songs. And he tried to involve me in his seduction of an 11-year-old girl who he told me he was going to marry. And he'd booked the hotel where they were going for the honeymoon. I reported him to social services. They stepped in, dealt with the child. She was at risk, and she was never seen again. And that was the end of my association with the pervert P.J. Probby. Although he's got a brilliant voice, absolutely fantastic, one of the most amazing singing voices I've heard, and he could hit the notes, hit the high C, hit it right down there in the dungeon. He could do it, but he was a twisted pervert, and he still is alive. He's 85 years old. Anyway, I'm now going to sing to you. This is With These Hands, by the way. Not these hands, but with somebody else's hands. With these hands, I will cling to you. I'm yours forever and a day. With these hands I will bring to you a tender love as warm as May. And with this heart I will sing to you long after stars have lost their glow. And with these hands I'll provide for you. Should there be a stormy sea, I'll turn the tide for you. And I'll never, no, I'll never let you go. There you go. Are you happy with that? If you are, sick parade in the morning, arse full of largactyl.